Hallo, ich bin's, Robin, Deutschlehrer mit Core Languages, and today I'm walking around beautiful Hampton Park in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. Now, if you've been watching our videos for a while, I will assume that you're no longer an absolute beginner. You will already have become familiar with some of the elements that make German a language that's a bit more complicated to learn. And one of these elements is that nouns have genders, and when we're using different cases, the article of those nouns changes. Listen to the following 4 sentences. Das ist der Baum. Ich sehe den Baum. Ich stehe bei dem Baum. Die Äste des Baumes sind lang und schwer. I just used the noun der Baum and went through all 4 cases with it, and you will have noticed that the article changed for each case. In today's video, we will review all 4 cases in German so that you can incorporate them correctly into your German sentences. I would say los geht's und viel Spaß beim Deutschlernen.
Review of the cases. Remember that German has 4 grammatical cases: the nominative, the accusative, the dative, and the genitive. Each case can be thought of as a container for a basic part of speech. Remember that other elements in a sentence can trigger a certain case, but a basic way of looking at it is that the nominative is the case of the subject, the accusative is the case of the direct object, the dative is the case of the indirect object, and the genitive is the case of possessives. Each of the 4 cases comes with its own set of definite and indefinite articles and possessive adjectives. A person can also be the direct or indirect object in a sentence. Then we need to use the appropriate pronouns for the different cases. Ich is always the nominative case. When you see ich in a sentence, it means it is the subject of the sentence. The direct object is mich, and the indirect object is mir. Du, dich, dir. And the formal you is sie, ihnen. Er, sie, es, ihn, sie, es, ihm, ihr, ihm. Wir, uns, uns. Ihr, euch, euch. Sie, ihnen. And sie, ihnen. When talking about nouns, we most frequently use either the definite or indefinite articles, Bestimmte and Unbestimmte Artikel. It is essential that we know the different articles for the different cases. Remember that an article changes based on gender and case. The nominative articles are der ein, die eine, das ein, die, and keine. The accusative articles are den einen, die eine, das ein, and die keine. The dative articles are dem einem, der einer, dem einem, and den keinen. And the genitive articles are des eines, der einer, des eines, and der keiner. The nominative case has multiple components but only one function. It contains the subject. For example, Bob is at home. Bob is zu Hause. Bob is the subject of the sentence, and so he is in the nominative case. But I can also form a sentence with a predicate noun, where I'm using another noun to describe the subject. Bob is my friend. Bob ist mein Freund. The noun mein Freund is also in the nominative because it describes the subject Bob. I can also use a predicate adjective, in which case I use an adjective to describe the subject. Bob is friendly. Bob ist freundlich. Bob is still in the nominative case. A predicate noun renames the subject. It can be substituted for the subject and refer to the same person or thing, etc. A predicate adjective is simply an adjective that describes the subject. The accusative case, or der Akkusativ, only affects masculine nouns. The definite article changes from der to den, and the indefinite article ein for masculine nouns changes to einen. Feminine and neutral nouns do not change. For example, das Mädchen hat einen Rucksack. The girl has a backpack. Rucksack is a masculine noun. Ein Rucksack changes to einen Rucksack. Der Lehrer hat den Laptop. The teacher has the laptop. Laptop is a masculine noun, and der changes to den. Ich habe eine Katze. I have a cat. Katze is a feminine noun, so you see no changes. Eine stays eine. The accusative case is mainly used for direct objects and objects of accusative prepositions. A direct object is the noun or pronoun in the sentence that receives the action of the verb. In other words, they are acted upon. For example, die Frau füttert den Hund. The woman feeds the dog. In this example, der Hund, which is a masculine noun, is the direct recipient of the feeding that is performed by the woman, die Frau. It is in the accusative case. Der Hund changes to den Hund. Der Mann hat ein Auto. The man has a car. In this example, the car is the direct recipient of the having of it, performed by the man. Auto is a neutral noun, so you see no changes. Ein Auto stays ein Auto, even though it is in the accusative case. The direct object can be identified by asking who or what is being verbed. For example, the first example, we can ask who or what is being fed. The answer is the dog is being fed. So the dog is the direct object of the sentence. Der Dativ is the case of the indirect object and objects of dative prepositions. An indirect object is the noun or pronoun in a sentence that benefits from but does not directly receive the action of the verb. We could say they're not directly affected. For example, die Frau füttert den Hund. The woman feeds the dog. In this example, the woman is the subject of the sentence who is executing the action of füttern, to feed. And the dog is the direct object of the verb. It is in the accusative case. However, die Frau gibt dem Hund einen Hundesnack. The woman feeds the dog a dog treat. In this example, the dog is the indirect object, and the dog treat, der Hundesnack, is the direct object of the action of giving. The indirect object can be identified by asking who or what receives the object that is being verbed. For the second example, we can ask, who is getting the dog treat? And the answer is the dog. The dog is the indirect object in the sentence. And because dog or Hund is a masculine noun, der Hund, the article changes to dem Hund. The genitive case endings vary depending on the spelling of nouns. Typically, we add either es or s and ens or en. We only add case endings to masculine or neutral nouns in the genitive. Feminine nouns do not change and never take a case ending. Only their article or determiner changes. Here are some examples of neutral and masculine nouns in the genitive and their case endings. Des Hundes, of the dog. Eines Mannes, of a man. Des Hauses, of the house. Eines Autos, of a car. Des Kaffees, of the coffee. Eines Teppichs, of a rug. Des Mädchens, of the girl. Eines Fensters, of a window. Des Herrn, of the man or of the sir or mister. Eines Studenten, of a student. Des Namens, of the name. And eines Herzens, of a heart. Weak nouns, which are nouns that typically end in e, ent, ant, ist, ege, oge, om, and so on, add an n or en ending, but there are also a few that add the additional s, eines Herzens, for example. Let's practice. Look at the following two basic nominative sentences, and all you need to do is choose the correctly conjugated form of to be. Er ist müde. He is tired. Er is in the nominative case. Du bist Tierärztin. You are a vet. And more specifically, you are a female vet because the ending in changes the profession to a female profession. Let's look at these two examples. Ich sehe Elefanten. I see an elephant. In this example, the elephant is the direct object of me seeing it. Elefant is a masculine noun, so ein changes to einen. Ich sehe einen Elefanten. I see an elephant. Ich liebe you, singular and informal. In this example, you are the direct object, so we need to use the accusative pronoun for you. Ich liebe dich. I love you. And how about these examples with an indirect object? Hast du eine E-Mail geschrieben? Have you written them an email? In this example, them is the indirect object or the dative case object. The correct sentence is, hast du ihnen eine E-Mail geschrieben? Ich habe einen Bericht gegeben. The indirect object is you, informal and singular. I have given you a report. The correct sentence is, ich habe dir einen Bericht gegeben. And now look at these examples that have the genitive case. Der Bruder ist mein Onkel. The noun in the genitive case is mein Vater. The brother of my father is my uncle. The correct sentence is der Bruder meines Vaters ist mein Onkel. And how about this example? Die Farbe ist grün. The noun in the genitive is die Flaschen, which is the plural of the bottle, the bottles. Die Farbe der Flaschen ist grün. The color of the bottles is green. Now look at this sentence. Der Mann gibt dem Kind seiner Schwester einen Apfel. The man gives the child of his sister an apple. Try to identify the different elements and what case they are in. Let's find the nominative case, the accusative case, the dative, and the genitive. The nominative case is the thing or the person that is doing the verb. In this example, it is der Mann. Let's find the accusative. The accusative is the direct object, or the thing or the person that is receiving the verb, or that is being verbed. What does he give? He gives einen Apfel. Who does he give the apple to? He gives it to the indirect object, dem Kind. Dem Kind is in the dative case. And it is the child of whom? It is the Genitiv, seine Schwester, of his sister.
Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. I hope you now have a better understanding of all 4 cases in German. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our German courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. Das war's. Vielen Dank. Bis zum nächsten Mal.